Verse 98, Sri Vishnu Sahasranaama Stotra. Akruraha Peshalo Daksho Dakshinaha Kshaminam Varaha Vidvattamo Vitabhayaha Punyasravana Kirtanaha. Akruraha Peshalaha Dakshaha Dakshinaha Kshaminam Varaha Vidvattamaha Vitabhayaha Punyasravana Kirtanaha. Akruraha, devoid of cruelty. Peshalha, beautiful. Dakshaha, prompt. Dakshinaha, skillful. Kshavinam Varaha, one who is the best among the forgiving. Vidvattamaha, foremost among the learned. Vidvattamaha, Vitabhayaha, transcending fear. Punya Sravana Kirtanaha, reciting whose names and talking about whose acts leads to auspiciousness. Akruraha, devoid of cruelty. He is never cruel. Now let us understand what cruelty is. Cruelty arises from anger, and anger arises from desire, a craving or a lust, not just a desire, is a great desire, is a craving or a lust for sense objects beyond a reason, beyond a logic, beyond reasonability. Narayana, Mahavishnu, the one who is totally fulfilled and he is all full, Purnaha, he cannot have any desire as such which can lead to anger. And obviously, so he has no occasion to have any sense of cruelty. Now, this Akruraha also may denote one of the very famous Yadavas, Akrura, who was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, despite being a minister of Kamsa. Actually, Akrura is a person who was sent by, who was assigned the task of bringing Krishna and Balrama from Vrindavana to Mathura. Kamsa had some evil designs. He wanted to bring these two boys to his court and somehow kill them. And for this, he sent a sort of invitation for to them to come and witness a yagna which he was conducting in Mathura. For this, he chose Akrura. Akrura knew the game of Kamsa, but still, as his minister, he had to go. He goes there and invites Krishna and Balrama, knowing fully well that this is the end of Kamsa. Now, whenever there is, and in Bhagavad Gita, there's a great verse which all of us, quite familiar verse, most of us will know. It is in chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga, one of the concluding verses. It says, Yat yat vibhuti mat sattvam srimat urjitameva va tat tat eva avagachatvam mama tejomsha sambhavam. Wherever there is any special glory in anyone, know that to be a manifestation or a part of my splendor. This is what Lord Krishna declared in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna and through Arjuna to all of us. For example, in this sense, Akrura is one such great individual who perhaps is also a manifestation of great, the Supreme Being, Mahavishnu. Thus, the term is interpreted as a Lord whose one ray of glory was the Kamsa employee, a minister of Kamsa, that is Akrura. He is called Yadava Akrura. Now, the heart of Lord is devoid of cruelty. It is extremely beautiful. Peshalaha. Peshalaha means beauty. One who is beautiful all over. Every part, every aspect of his is beautiful. This is brought out beautifully in Madhurastakam. In his infinite kindness and mercy, his heart is ever flowing out in love and tenderness towards his devotees. When they call out for help ardently and sincerely to lift themselves from their body consciousness, he is always ready. Once they are prepared, wants to come out of this egocentric life of sense pursuit, he is always ready. He literally comes running to their presence to rescue them from the quagmire of mortal life. The Supreme Being is called Dakshaha. He is very prompt and very efficient. So, the term Daksha stands for the quality of promptitude. Promptitude. For example, in army training, this word daksha is used. It has multiple connotations. For example, it means attention, alertness, vigilance, total preparedness to act immediately with a sense of supreme urgency. These are qualities which are highly rated in the army. All these things are implied in the post attention, sadhan. When they say sadhan, means come to attention. All these factors, all these states are inbuilt in that. So it is called dakshaha. Now, the Lord is daksha in serving the world and in rushing to his sincere devotees. The omnipotent, the divinely efficient in his infinite smartness for what? To reach and help at all times, everywhere, under every circumstance. He is ready to help, come and help. Extremely prompt. He's called Dakshaha. He is not only Dakshaha, he is Dakshinaha. He is also very skillful in helping his devotees. Dakshinaha also has a lot of meanings. One normal meaning is Dakshina is called a gift. Gift normally which is given to a priest after he performs a ritual as a sort of a fee or a honor or a compensation, whatever we call it. It is called Dakshina. But Dakshina has to be given in a large heart, in a spirit of large heart and a liberal charity. The very large heartedness of mind of the Lord itself is called Dakshinya. Dakshina, Dakshinya of the Lord. It is exact opposite of selfishness and attachment to the wealth which one may possess. Dakshina is exactly opposite to that. So, one who has infinite kindness and charity towards all good people, and one who is ever ready to liberally give away whatever he has, his endless benevolence is the supreme Narayana himself. So it's called Dakshinaha. Now, the Lord, who is the greatest in charity, is also the best amongst the forgiving. Kshaminam Varaha. Kshaminam Varaha. The best among the persons who are having a forgiving nature. So he is the one having greatest amount of patience with the sinners, and he is ready to forgive all their sins. And Narayana is more patient than even the earth, because generally earth is considered to be the embodiment of patience. We know what harm we are doing to planet earth, how we treat the earth, or how we treat the plants, etc., on this earth. But they are always forgiving, they are giving us only good. They never strike back at us. So, normally, earth is considered to be the embodiment of patience. Bhudevi is known as Kshama Devi. But Narayana is more patient. He is having more patience than even Bhudevi. Valmiki Ramayana describes Lord Rama. One of his attributes are described as Kshamaya Prithvi Samaha. In forgiving, he is like Mother Earth. That means he shows so much of a patience, forgiveness. Actually, Lord Rama said in one context that even if Ravana, even after doing all this harm, even after troubling Mother Sita, even after harassing him, if he now comes and says, I made a mistake, please pardon me. Lord Rama says, I am prepared to forgive him without any hesitation. Now, Hiranyakashipa, Hiranyaksha, Ravana, all these persons are of this type. They were given many fair opportunities by the Lord to realize for themselves the folly of their base attitudes to existing things and their immoral ways of life. Lord Rama, after great difficulty, after building the bridge across the sea, when all the army had entered Lanka and they surrounded the fort of Lanka and the war was about to start, even at that time, Rama sent Angada as one of his emissaries to Ravana and gave him one more last chance. Even now, if you understand your mistake and return Mother Sita to me, I will forgive you. But Ravana was not like that. So only when these people they don't learn from this, don't accept even the last opportunity given, don't make use of it, then the Lord has no other alternative, no other method than to destroy them. And even this destruction, he is doing act of infinite kindness. He is killing the sin among them. That is what he is trying to do. He has no cruelty. Akruraha. The Supreme is also the foremost among the learned persons. Vidvat is learned person. Vidvat tamaha. Foremost among the superlative of the this one. Vidvat tamaha. Foremost among the learned. One who has the greatest wisdom. There are a lot of wise men in the world, but each of their wise people may be a master in their own particular subject. They may masters, they may hold a doctorate degree in one or two subjects, but not all. The Lord is the one who is a very consciousness, illumining everybody. He is the person giving knowledge to these knowledgeable persons. He is one knowledge absolute. He is the knower of all knowledge of all the wise men. So the omniscient, infinite truth is Narayana. He is pure knowledge, by the light of which all other knowledge is known. So it's called Vidvat Tamaha. Now, the opposite of knowledge is ignorance. So, ignorance, all fear comes from ignorance. So, since the Supreme is wisdom, wisdom alone, with no trace of ignorance, he is absolutely, is also free from fear. So, he is Vita Bhayaha. He is one transcending fear. He is beyond ignorance. Vita Bhayaha, transcending fear. So he is the one who has lost or crossed over all fears. As a matter of fact, he never had any fear. There's no question of his giving up. So fear is the one which can come only from the sense of other. For example, the enemy, what we call enemy, if I consider him to be somebody different from me, I will assume that he's going to harm me. So I'm afraid of him. But once I know he and I are one and the same, then there is no question of a fear. Advaita reality, Advaita philosophy, there the Supreme Being, He is one without a second. There's nobody else. He is the whole. Everybody is a part of Him. The entire universe is a part of Him. He is there in every part of the universe. So there is nothing which is not Him. There is no other. That means He is one without a second. So, the state of Narayana, or what we call Narayana consciousness, Krishna consciousness, is Abhaya. It is a fearless state. So, it's called Vita Bhayaha. Now, the final name in this verse is Punya Sravana Kirtanaha, reciting of whose names are contemplating, repeating, telling, exchanging stories about his great acts which is what is called a Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is nothing but stories of the Lord. So the stories of the Lord, the great devotees listen to this, repeat this, discuss among themselves about these great acts done by the Supreme Being, because this itself is a great act of auspiciousness. So one whose glory, when heard, that is Shravana, and sung, that is Kirtana, it gives us merit, that is Punya, which grows in our bosom as a devotee. So he's called Punya Shravana Kirtana. But this is again just a superficial and obvious meaning of this name Punya Shravana Kirtana. But when we say hearing, hearing with attention to the stories of the Lord, what we do, we don't merely hear, we must get ourselves involved in the listening, and don't stop there also. Thereafter, we must reflect upon the glories of the Lord, what we call Bhagavad Gunas, the great glories of the God. By doing this, we expose ourselves to those recreative thoughts. It helps us. By this, we are able to imbibe great spiritual values, spiritual qualities in us. So, thus we must learn to get ourselves committed to the life of God centered activities. So, Punya Sravana Kirtana is not merely listening, hearing. We have to hear, then get involved in the process of listening, and then reflect upon what we heard. These glories of the Lord, once we reflect upon them again and again, these noble qualities will gradually seep into us, percolate into our being. That this is called true Kirtana, singing his glories. Now, Kirtana does not mean mere noisy chanting of hymns or even a mere muttering of names. No, we must teach ourselves to allow the Supreme to express Him through us. So we become sort of a conduit, we become instruments. So all our physical activities, all our mental feelings, all our intellectual thoughts, all these must shine forth in the awareness of His divine presence in us. And this should happen in us every moment. And wherever we are, it should happen everywhere. Not necessarily in the satsang, in a hall where we conduct satsang. Only there we have this. Once we come out of the hall, we are back to normal. No, that will not do. It must be our 24-hour, 24 by 7, what we call 24 by 7 status. So the life of such a devotee will itself become a dynamic beauty, love, and devoted tenderness. Now this becomes a constant worship, what we call puja. It becomes a continuous hymn chanted. It becomes a, what we call akhanda kirtana. Akhanda kirtana. It becomes a constant puja in praise of the Lord of the heart. Now, it is said that Namasmarana is the best means to get salvation in the Kali Yuga. Of these 4 yugas, Kali Yuga is one where Dharma is actually tottering. Dharma, represented by a bull, is supposed to be standing only on 1 feet. It has lost 3 feet. So it is standing very, very precariously in Kali Yuga. So in this Kali Yuga, the only way of salvation is Namasmarana. Kalau Keshava Kirtanam. Smarana of the name of Lord Keshava in Kali Yuga is the only alternative, or it is the simplest, easiest alternative for getting moksha, liberation. So with this, we'll conclude this verse. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrutyorma Amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.